Hello, children. This is Grandma Carla, and we're back with the last chapter of The Storm. Family. While Pandora went out searching the woods, Siebold sat Lila and Whistler down to a checkerboard he had made to take their minds off their fears. "I will look after Tiny," he told them gently, "and you may try out my new game board." "Clams," Lila said in surprise, picking up a game piece. "And starfish," said Whistler, picking up another. Siebold smiled. "They're much more interesting than little round circles. I carved them myself." "Amazing," said Whistler, turning the starfish over in his hand. "I should like to try to carve something sometime." "Any time you like," said Siebold. "Except just now, of course. This little one needs me." He left Whistler and Lila to their game and carried the infant mouse to a chair beside the kitchen window. Setting her in one paw with a thimbleful of water nearby, he went about his duties. "Keep her cool," Pandora had told him. "Give her water." And these things Siebold did do. But he did something more. There, beside Pandora's gingham-curtained window, in view of the cherry trees budding and the daffodils in bloom, Siebold transformed. Exactly how, he could not say, but rocking the infant carefully in his paw, listening to the quiet and the gentle voices of Whistler and Lila in the next room, hearing the crackling and the smelling the good brown smell of bread in the stove, Siebold realized that he was happy. Happier than he had ever been, happier than any solitary evening at sea had ever made him. He sat by the window, cooed to the tiny baby, and he smiled. And after that day, everything changed. Tiny was made better by the willow bark. Lila planted sunflower seeds, and Pandora and Siebold found themselves with a kind of household. Some days Pandora looked about at all the dwellers of her lighthouse, and she marveled. How had it happened? It had happened for many reasons. It happened because a noble young cat wished to save lives, because a brave dog wished to sail, and because 3 small children wished for a family. Before Siebold found them at sea, Whistler, Lila, and Tiny had lived in an orphanage far from Pandora's lighthouse, but they were to be separated and sent off to different places. "We will never be separated," Whistler had told Lila, and in the dark of night, with Tiny bundled into Lila's back, they had escaped. Finding the docks of the city and all of the great schooners ready to set sail, they had hidden aboard one of them, bound for they knew not where. But out at sea, in a hurricane wind, the schooner had rolled itself under, and the 3 poor young mice with it. Perhaps their parents in heaven were watching over them, for Whistler managed to grab hold of an empty crate and pull his sisters in. They floated, hungry and thirsty for what seemed time unending, until Siebold had found them. And now here they were, carving otters, planting sunflower seeds. Siebold grew quite attached to Tiny. He put her in the soft roll of his knitted cap, and she went everywhere with him, seeing all that he saw. In evening, when Pandora set supper on the table, Siebold placed Tiny in the little egg cup by his plate and patted her fondly on the head as they ate. And when, with full stomachs and happy hearts, the children were put to bed, Siebold and Pandora had their last cup of tea in the sitting room and reminisced. "Do you remember when we saw the double rainbow? Do you remember when the moon passed across the sun? And the wind blew the pelican the wrong way?" And they would smile together in memory and sip their tea. And as always, before the night was ended, Siebold would ask, "And do you remember when I found the children?" Pandora would nod her head. "They are quite wonderful," Siebold would say. "Yes," Pandora would answer. "Thank goodness we found them," both would say in unison. And with a happy good night, Siebold would go to his warm bed, and Pandora would go to hers. In the kitchen, near the fire, tucked into the knitted sock Pandora had made just for them, the 3 mouse children would sleep soundly, dreaming their blue sea dreams. The lighthouse had a family. That is the end of The Storm. So let's look at the pictures. So here is the first picture, family. Okay, so there they are. And here are little mice down here. And he's got the little baby Tiny in his paw. Remember, little Tiny was sick, and Seabold tried to help her, but she would not wake up. She was too sick. And then here's the story of all the little mice. They were from an orphanage. Their mommy and daddy had died, and they were in an orphanage. But they did not want to be separated and sent to different homes. They're very happy, aren't they? There's Tiny riding in Seabold's cap. That's her special place. And there they are, all asleep in the little sock that Pandora knitted for them. And there are Seabold and Pandora by the fire talking about the children after they've put them to bed. I think they enjoy being parents, don't they? And notice what it says down at the end. It says the beginning. It's the end of this book, but it's the beginning of the Lighthouse family. So this book is the start of the whole Lighthouse series. So we have many more books to enjoy and read. And there's their little family, Seabold and Pandora and all the mice in their arms. Can you see them? This is Grandma Carla, and I love you.